Welcome to Watchat, where we chat about watches and other facts of life. The SBGA211 and the SBGA407 are perhaps the two most compared Grand Seiko out there. So what's the difference between the Snowflake and the Skyflake? Let's find out. The SBGA211 is probably one of the most sold Grand Seiko out there. One look at its unique dial and that distinctive stripping second hand, no wonder it's considered GS's most iconic modern watch. Until, of course, you've seen this watch, the SBGA407 aka the Skyflake. If you're having a tough time deciding which one of these two watches you should purchase, you're probably one of those thousands out there with that dilemma. According to Peter's Law, the creed of the passionate and persistent mind, it states that when given a choice, take both. It's a real thing, go look it up, and I digress. So, what's the difference? For starters, the SBGA211 comes from GS Heritage Collection, whereas the SBGA407 derives from the Elegance Collection. Naturally, the design cues of the Snowflake is a little more modern and sportier, whereas the Skyflake has a more dressy and elegant look. The case shape of these two watches are totally different. The design on the Snowflake has its lugs curves around the case, whereas the Skyflake has its lugs extended from the case. Both these watches receive the Zerazu polish treatment, which causes the case to have a mirror finish. The case and lugs on the Skyflake are all mirror-like. The front profile of the lugs on the Snowflake, on the other hand, are brush finish, and the side profile of the case and lugs are all polish finish. The crown on the Snowflake is screwed in about 1mm into the case, forming a miniature crown guard, whereas the Skyflake has a push-in crown without any crown guards. The crown on the Snowflake has a flat surface with the GS logo engraved on it, whereas the crown on the Skyflake has a rounded surface with the GS logo engraved on it. Although the former has a push-down crown and the latter has a screw-down crown, both have a 100m water resistance. The Snowflake has a 41mm diameter and a 12.5mm thickness. The Skyflake, on the other hand, has a 40.2mm in diameter and a 12.8mm thickness. I believe the additional height to the Skyflake is due to the box-shaped sapphire crystal, whereas the Snowflake's sapphire crystal is rather flat, or what GS would call it as a dual-curved sapphire crystal. The case material of the Snowflakes, the bracelet and the clasps are made out of titanium, ergo it is a lighter watch. Whereas the case on the Skyflake and clasps are stainless steel with a dark blue crocodile leather strap. The lug width on the Snowflake is 20mm and the Skyflake's is 19mm. In terms of movement, both these watches are powered by the 9R65 caliber movement, which is where the magic is. It has 30 joules and a plus-minus 15 seconds a month accuracy. The obvious differences between these two watches is the color of their dial. The Snowflake looks like white snow, whereas the Skyflake, well, according to a 9-year-old, it looks like a frozen watch. The markers on the Skyflake are matchsticks-like chamfered on three sides, with the 12 o'clock having double markers, whereas the markers on the Snowflake, save for the 6, 9 and 12 o'clock, are all matchsticks-like but chamfered on four sides. The 6, 9 and 12 o'clock indices has a cone shape, also chamfered on four sides. Although the Snowflake has a larger diameter, the mass on the dial is slightly smaller due to the thicker bezel. Evidently, the markers and hands on the Snowflake is a tad shorter than the Skyflake. Even the applied GS logo, the black Grand Seiko wordings, and the blue spring drive wordings are slightly smaller on the Snowflake. However, for some strange reason, the size on the date window on both these watches are about the same. But because the Snowflake has a smaller dial, the date window is portrayed to be a little bigger compared to the Skyflake when looking at the overall proportion of the watch. Both have a window frame surrounding the date. Because the backdrop of both these dates are white with black numberings, the date on the Skyflake somewhat disturbs the symmetry of the watch. The minute track are also different. The ones on the Snowflake are in black, slightly thicker and shorter, whereas the Skyflakes are in blue, longer and more refined. The wordings at the bottom of the dial on the Snowflake is in black that reads Japan 9R65-OBLO T2, whereas the Skyflakes are in grey that reads Japan 9R65-OCPO T2. The word spring drive on the Snowflake is placed closer to the 6 o'clock markers, whereas the word spring drive on the Skyflake is positioned closer to the power reserve indicator. Both indicators have a 21 track line stipulating the 72 hours of power reserve it has. The power reserve indicator in the Snowflake has a consistent white that blends in with the dial. The inner part of the power reserve indicator in the Skyflake, however, has a darker shade of blue, making the quadrant very apparent. This also disturbs the symmetry of the dial. However, if you don't mind showcasing the power reserve indicator, because it is now becoming more of a GS icon, the Skyflake has done it just right. Instead of slapping a flat color on the indicator, GS in this case has used a blue that shades from light to dark, which makes the quadrant lines more apparent. If it was a flat color like the Snowflake here, the lines can hardly be noticed. The open case back of both these watches are also different. The Snowflake has a more modern and bigger display of the 9R65 caliber, whereas the Skyflake has a vintage looking case display, which is smaller. The Snowflake has a screw down case back, and the Skyflake, well, to remove it you probably need a screwdriver. These are the differences I've noticed. In gist, the Snowflake is a more modern looking piece and a bigger but lighter watch. The titanium bracelet makes the watch more wearable and practical. You can even take this watch for a swim. The watch is somewhere in between a dress and a sport watch. The Snowflake dial is indeed gorgeous. It represents purity and consistency. Notwithstanding the power reserve indicator, the Snowflake has a pretty clean dial due to the consistent color used therein and on the date. However, if I'm being entirely honest, at a distance, the watch won't probably be noticed. One would probably just consider it to be another boring white watch. But on a close-up, that Snowflake would just wow you with that dial and sweeping blue seconds hand. No wonder it is considered GS' most iconic modern watch. The Skyflake, on the other hand, is a freaking house of mirrors due to the Zeratsu polish. The more vintage case design and the leather strap makes the watch a pretty elegant and delicate watch. Yes, more elegant than the Snowflake. It is after all a dress watch. Because it comes with a leather strap, it is not something that you can wear every day, especially if you are one of those active ones. The strap also makes it pointless to have it 100-meter water resistant. This watch really does require a lot of babying. Notwithstanding all the cons, the Skyflake has that unique blue dial that gets everyone talking about it when noticed. It also has that sweeping blue seconds hand. To me, that dial is all that matters and all worth it. Not only does it have the same dial design as the Snowflake, the Skyflake actually one-upped his cousin with that gorgeous blue, which depicts tranquility and novelty. Notwithstanding the power reserve indicator, the watch definitely gets a lot of attention, even from a distance. Provided, of course, the watch is under appropriate lighting. If you don't know what I mean, do check out my review video on the Skyflake, which I'll put a link in the description below. So there you have it. These are just my take on the Snowflake and the Skyflake. Anyway, if you like this kind of video, please like, share, comment, subscribe and hit that notification button to support me, and I'll really appreciate it and promise to upload more videos like this. Until the next one, thank you for watching.